Yeah.
Yes, sir. We are
All
back.
right. What up, fellas? Buccaneers,
What up?
Saints. Happy fuck the Saints week. We don't like the Saints around here. Even though they stink, we still don't like them.
With all due respect, though, Bush, for my own sake, because the Eagles have that pick, I'm gonna have to root for the Saints. I do not want that Saints pick being in the top 5.
It probably will be. The
It
Saints are
probably
pretty
will
bad.
be. Oh yeah,
I
for
don't know.
sure.
Tonight, man. It's you throw the records out when these two teams play.
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair. If Lattimore was playing, I'd feel a little more confident in it. But like without Lattimore, like getting Evans off his
This might
game,
be
like you
Evans'
get
best game of his career against the Saints coming up.
for real. Yeah, man, it feels so good having dude. The only problem is with me
It
having so
also
much.
feels good having Garrett Wilson on a lot of best ball teams for us too.
With me having so much Wilson, though, it means I also had a lot of Elijah Moore, so it happens. By the way, side note, before we get into all the comments, just want to update you guys. Obviously, you've been tracking recently our Sunday night bets or Sunday bets, so may as well just show you how the week's gone so far. We might make a couple tonight. What do you think? We'll
Who
see.
knows?
We'll
Swift,
see.
you love to see the Swift taking W's here. Finally,
Oh yeah.
after 7 weeks of blindly following DeAndre Swift takes, he finally hits.
And of course, Tua falling ass backwards because Deshaun Watson was a pile of shit.
Yeah, love to see it. Ryan barely beat Watson though. Too.
He lost him.
CPAT and tight end premium also barely lost. Or sorry, not CPAT. Sorry, Freiermuth and tight end premium barely lost to Palmer.
Yeah, Christian Watson took that 46-yard end around. I was playing against him, and I'm like,
oh,
you know what?
Did I tell you what happened to me? I didn't tell you what happened. I had an alternate receiving line bet. I have them written down right here. So I missed out on two $900 payouts on $20 bets because Travis Etienne only had 56 rushing yards. He needed 70. And that would have been a $800 payout because I predicted an Amon-Ra 100-yard game, Mike White to go over 300 passing yards, Garrett Wilson to go over 80 receiving yards, and Travis Etienne was the lowest odds one of all of them was 70-plus rushing yards on Travis Etienne, and it didn't hit.
Against the Lions, too. That's
I know.
pain.
I know. And then the other one that I just missed on was Deontay Johnson, 60-plus receiving yards. I believe he had 60 on the dot, if I'm not mistaken. Freiermuth, 50-plus receiving yards. Terry McLaurin, 90-plus receiving yards. And then Christian Watson, 60-plus receiving yards. And he had a carry for 40 yards.
You know what's the most ironic part about Deontay Johnson? Like, because on our Sunday morning live stream, I was clowning him. I'm like, he hasn't scored over 11 PPR points since week 3. He still hasn't scored over 11 PPR points since week 3 because he had 11 on the dot yesterday.
Dude, the guy actually could have had at least 25 PPR points in that game. He had 2 end zone targets, 1 crossing route that he dropped that was a wide open touchdown if he catches it, or at least a 20-plus yard play at minimum. It's just crazy how often Deontay Johnson's open and how very seldom he actually makes something happen once he catches the ball, if he even does catch it.
For sure. So to recap again, like you guys see, Swift paying off. I'm glad it happened, but at the same time, got Bush 2 of these points over B-Rob and over Jamal Williams, his own teammate. Bush also took the 2 6-point passing touchdown scoring. Obviously, Deshaun Watson, as we know, probably one of the worst bounce back games, if you will, against your former team. Like he looked like a pile of absolute piss against the Houston
Browns
Texans.
Special teams. Of course, I had to play against Donovan Peoples-Jones this week. Why wouldn't he get a punt return touchdown?
Yeah, for real. Christian Watson basically getting over Pirine by the skin of his teeth, like we were just talking about.
Awesome, though.
Bam Knight, 24 opportunities in this game. He looked like the clear-cut number 2 back behind Mike Carter. We'll see how that kind of
that was a reverse jinx for me. I was playing against that.
Respect. Freiermuth versus Palmer. Freiermuth, I believe, in a tight end premium finished with what? 10, like 10.
It was like 13.1 and Palmer, or sorry, no, 12.5, and Palmer had 13, I believe.
And then of course Jeff Wilson was basically a no-show in that game. I don't even know how to describe that. So yeah. And then as you see, Eagles minus 4.5. Obviously, because that hit, I lost on my Titans plus 4.5. It was an absolute fucking blowout. Titans, after they lost Treylon Burks, looked like they lacked anything going on offense. It was putrid. Bengals money line. Hey, Joe Burr has Patrick Mahomes' number. I'll forever back that guy. And then finally, Garrett Wilson, 2 points. Big shout out there. But now let's get into the comments.
Deontay could have hit. All I'm saying, Deontay could have very easily had 20 PPR points if you guys were watching that game. But he decided to lead the league in expected fantasy points for the 7th straight week.
For sure.
Manifield, yeah. So Garrett Wilson, definitely a great game for him. Love to see it. I literally, the second Mike White was named the starter, I was like, well, this year's Amon-Ra, please come on down. It looks like we're going to get a couple guys that are going to potentially be that way with the way Watson's playing. With, I mean, maybe Drake London comes out of the woodworks. Who knows? He had a
good
big game.
12 targets.
Yeah, 12 targets and 95 yards. But I mean, like Mariota's averaging like 170 passing yards a game. Like it's impossible for you to have anything more than like a good analytics bro type of. I said this in the video today because somebody asked, can we trust Drake London? And I was like, I don't think so, man. Like we're talking, the stat that I found today was the Philadelphia Eagles led the NFL, or were the worst in the NFL, sorry, with 29.1 pass attempts per game.
Falcons average 23.
The Falcons have averaged 23 pass attempts per game, and they have only exceeded 29 twice this season, and it was 30 and 29 exactly.
I think I brought up that exact stat in one of my waiver wire videos.
By the way, have never exceeded 29 this season.
I think I brought up that exact stat in my streamers video because I was talking about streaming Mariota and I said, listen, like this is such unsustainable low passing volume. Like if he has even adequate volume, we know what he could do with his legs. So I think I actually brought up that exact stat, which is fucking hilarious, where the Falcons and the Bears in terms of expected passing volume are so much lower than every single other team in the NFL. It's laughable. Like it's laughable. It looks like the difference between, a pure like a Wisconsin versus an Ohio State in terms of passing volume in the college football. That's what it feels like relative to the NFL. It's ridiculous. Also, I have to rub it in a little bit, Brock. That team right behind me put a little thumping on your Colts in the fourth quarter.
He wants his team to
I know. I'm trolling. Relax. I'm trolling. I know he wants it. I talked about it. He said he wants Anthony Richardson, but
Richardson. We got two big declares today. It was Anthony Richardson declaring for the NFL draft. To me, that means that the committee told him if he has a good draft process that he could be a first round pick.
Yep.
He's not a senior, right? Is he a true junior?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's a true junior, which means he can, theoretically still gain some stuff in the offseason, but he won't be at like the Senior Bowl, for example, which for some reason NFL teams really care about with quarterbacks, even though they probably shouldn't. The other thing, too, was Kayshon Boutte going back to school. Not like he was any good, as I've kind of been talking about. I know, Devy circles and Dynasty, Twitter and certain analysts that I'm not going to name have been hyping up Kayshon Boutte since that, 7-game stretch to close out his freshman season and the first couple games of his sophomore season. But outside of that, he really just hasn't been all that impressive, in my opinion. So my guess is that he went to the committee and he was like, should I declare? And they were like, NFL teams are telling us 3rd, 4th round for you. So you probably should go back to school. That would be my guess. That's usually why players go back to school.
By the way, Nathan, yeah, you're right. Anthony Richardson, he only threw 2 attempts in 2020. So yes, he was a red shirt. Got a super chat here from our Gravy quick. Down 8 with Taysom and he has Bucs D+ suck up. Good luck, brother.
Isn't Taysom Hill out?
Is he? I didn't think so. My boys projected points for him in his lineup.
Hold on, let me check.
No,
I'm looking ahead. I was looking ahead to my matchup next week with Amir, and he has Taysom Hill, and he's on bye. That's why I was.
That's why.
Yeah.
Fair.
Taysom Hill obviously can make you he can get points because he'll just like siphon a goal line touch or something. And because I need Kamara to have points today for me to get into the playoffs, then it's probably going to be a Taysom Hill goal line touch type of game. But Bucs defense and suck up. I mean, the Bucs defense could house a pick 6 against this Saints passing game. We got a couple pieces back on defense. Vea and Hicks are supposed to play. Logan Ryan was activated off IR, but we don't have Winfield, which is obviously a huge blow to our secondary. I think Olave is probably going to have a big game today.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Side note, by the way, apparently Bijan Robinson went on an unofficial visit to the Star, like in Dallas. Like I heard something like that happened. I don't know, but I mean,
give me Bijan.
That's funny.
Dallas. It'd be awesome.
Man, could you imagine?
That'd be awesome for fantasy for sure. I don't want to have to see my fucking college running back go to the stupid ass Cowboys though.
Hey, you're gonna love it.
I would much rather him go to the Dolphins. That'd be so fucking fun.
By the way, Brock, I think I honestly agree. I mean, the gap between Travis Kelce and every single other tight end right now, like it's ridiculous. He's averaging like 20.
The thing that I still like stand by process wise, obviously it hasn't really worked out. You were going to take on the process being wrong because the positional advantage had the opportunity to be so big. It should have been the Travis Kelce profile this year, playing with Mahomes, target share, Tyreek leaving, all that kind of stuff. But You needed him to be this. He had to be the best positional advantage in fantasy for that pick to work out for you. Obviously, it has worked out, so I'm not gonna, bag on people who are drafting Travis Kelce because, like, clearly I did not get enough Travis Kelce. I wish I got more of it, but
He would be a mid first round pick
it
if we
had to happen
redrafted.
for him to work out.
I mean, he would have been a mid first round pick if we redrafted and he was going in the second round.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying. Are people happy with their Mark Andrews pick right now?
No, but I mean, he's only averaging.
Why I don't draft tight ends early is because even though Mark Andrews is like the tight end 2 or 3 in fantasy right now and has been pretty good relative to the position, he's not. You need to be the far and away best tight end in fantasy for that early round pick to work out, in my opinion.
You want to hear something fucked up about Travis Kelce right now?
What's that?
He has nearly 100 more points than the next closest tight end, and he averages almost 22 PPR points per game right now at tight end. The next closest is Mark Andrews at 14.5. He is averaging basically 33% more points than or 50% more points, because I mean 14 plus 7. Yeah, 50% more points than the next closest tight end this year.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. Like,
it's an absurd number.
Like, his points per game at tight end would outscore all but 3 wide receivers on a points per game basis. Those 3 wide receivers,
premium format, he'd be the best player in fantasy, probably. I'd imagine, right?
He averages more points per game right now than Tyreek Hill.
That's insane.
Doesn't he have like 14 touchdowns? Like, it's ridiculous.
That's absolutely insane. I'm really pissed at myself for not getting more Travis Kelce, especially in best ball. Like, I have a couple really, really good best ball teams because of the like limited Travis Kelce that I did get. I have a Mahomes Kelce stack with like a Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, Jamal Williams, and like just an absurd running back core with a Mahomes Kelce stack. So I'm feeling pretty good about that team. But Nate says, good win, Bush. Lamar's been killing you, boy, in fantasy last 2 seasons. Yeah, we had a big time matchup this week in the FSE Listener Dynasty League. I was 9-3. He was 9-3, but he has more points for than me. So he was occupying the 2 seed behind Daddy Flex God, whose team is just absolutely absurd. But yeah, good for me. I'm in position to hold the bye now. I played Caden this week, who's like 8-5 or 9-4. I can't remember exactly what his record is, but another big matchup for me this week. But hopefully I can hold on because I would like to have a bye in that.
Probably worst case scenario for me this week, because I want Spicy to make the playoffs and I have Garrett's pick, so I want him to like miss out on the playoffs. Plus, like, if the season ended, he would have like the third lowest.
Garrett's kind of like the Rams of this league because he won the title last year.
Yeah, well,
he's not going to make he might not make the playoffs. And I was the 6th seed and I made the championship and almost won last year.
Garrett, he has the third least points for, or max points for right now. So if he doesn't make the playoffs, like, I would get the third overall pick from him.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty huge.
So
considering, it's wild considering he won the title last year. It's because he has like Stafford and guys that were good last year that aren't good now.
No, 100%.
Yo, what up, Domain?
We actually got a super chat here. My fault. I didn't even notice. Our Gravy appreciates that. He says our D scoring is whack. Touchdown, interception, fumble, sack, 1 point each. It's still hard to trust Taysom Hill for more than like 7 points.
Yeah, and I mean, Suck Up will probably have like 6 to 8 points, I'd imagine, in this game. So I think you should be okay. It kind of sucks knowing that you won't get like big time play upside with the Buccaneers defense, but sacks are always something that they're good at getting. Where's Christian Watson in the FSC game?
Gonna have to do a resweep
where he is since the last time that we did it.
Definitely gonna have to resweep
among rookie wide receivers. How many rookie wide receivers are you taking over Christian Watson right now?
Like, easily, without a doubt, would be Garrett Wilson. It would be Drake London, Chris Olave.
I would still take Burks over him.
I would still take Burks, but that's when you start getting into the conversation.
I would still take Jameson Williams over him too.
I wouldn't.
I think there's a legitimate argument that you can make because he's already shown it. There's no real precedent on Jameson Williams being good in the NFL yet.
But if he has a bad flash, then he's way more volatile. At least with Christian Watson, we're seeing the production right now, and we know people are going to overreact.
I for sure. But I personally would still just there was it was a massive difference between their tapes, in my opinion. So if they were close enough, like pre-draft, that I was like, okay, like whatever. Like now that I've seen it in the NFL with Watson, I would be very comfortable doing that. I think that's where the conversation point lies. You're easily taking him over Pickens and Dotson and the rest of the
without a doubt,
the rookie wide receivers for sure. I would say, I mean, Christian Watson's probably like a borderline top 24 wide receiver in Dynasty. I have to look and work things out numbers wise, but that's probably about the range.
Well, I got a question for you, and I think this isn't as like black or white as you can like think, but Christian Watson or like Marquise Brown. Like, I think that's a real. But that's what I mean. I think that's like where you start getting to the real conversation point.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I would rather have like Devontae Smith, Marquise Brown, like guys like that. But once you like, would you rather have Christian Watson or Brandon Ayuk?
Watson.
I think I'd rather have Ayuk.
Watson. Like he's going to be like a fringe top 20ish level dynasty wide receiver for me.
That's fair.
We're seeing
probably not quite that high on him. I would say that
it's
he's
just
going to be like in the 26 to 30 range. Like, for me, it's like I'd probably rather have Christian Watson like Jerry Jeudy, for example. But
easily,
I would like
without a doubt.
Yeah, but like that's like the tier he's probably ahead of for me.
The thing with Christian Watson right now, and again, I'll eat my crow because like I didn't think he would even remotely be close to this, but
I'm glad I started to come around on him towards the end of the cycle and once like rookie drafts were coming in because I did get a couple shares of him in some of my tanking dynasty leagues.
Yep. The reason why I mentioned this, like every single thing that we were looking for his bull case after what could have happened, has happened. Like this is a guy who has set 7 touchdowns in his last 4 weeks, and people might say, "Oh, 8." Oh yeah, because of the rushing touchdown. And people might say like, "Oh, you know what? You're chasing touchdowns. Look, he's just going to be the next Gabe Davis." The difference between him and Gabe Davis is Christian Watson's averaging like 2.3 targets per or a
20%, 21% or better target share in 3 of his last 4 games, and like a 26% target share overall in those last 4 games. So he's getting targets. The only real question you'd have about Christian Watson is his long-term future at quarterback because Rodgers is older, but again, we're usually not really that concerned with that kind of stuff to begin with once we see a player command targets and score touchdowns and stuff like that. So
I think it was Jacob that actually talked about his volume. I want to say it was 0.230 targets per route run, which is like a ridiculous play. That's 23% target rate, which is exactly what you want to see from a young ascending wide receiver. I didn't think he'd come in and be able to command targets. Like I was worried, oh, maybe he's just like a Marquez Valdez-Scantling for this offense right away, stretches the field, more valuable in real life than he is in fantasy. But like he's commanding 6, 7, 8 targets. Like
it's actually really funny. He's almost playing out the exact rookie season of my comparison for him because my comparison for him was Chase Claypool, and Chase Claypool had a lot of touchdowns his rookie season and some big games and stuff, and that's where his value came from. He was also not a analytics darling by any means, just like Christian Watson. So it's kind of interesting that that's like the dynamic we're at right now with Christian Watson. I could very well see him having like a Chase Claypool type of career arc potentially as like the bear case, like where he doesn't work out. For example, like what we thought Chase Claypool could become eventually, but he didn't necessarily. But I could also see him becoming, like a Martavis Bryant or like, DK Metcalf light or something at the absolute ceiling.
By the way, I did find it. So he's averaging basically a 23% target rate, 0.230 targets per route run, Jacob said, and 2.3 yards per route run, which is just ludicrous.
That's a really good ass number, dude. And he led the class in yards per route run coming into I mean, like it was obviously lower level competition, but for how they used Christian Watson in North Dakota State was get him the ball any way possible. And when he had the ball, he absolutely dominated with it. Like that's just what happened. And that's kind of been what's happened for the Packers so far this year.
Monster day for rookie receivers.
Dude. I mean, I already got what I needed at Burks because I won my matchup anyway. Unless Mike Evans has 28 points in half PPR, I'm gonna win. So I think I should be okay. But I mean, Mike Evans could always punch in 3 touchdowns, which would be brutal. But
why do I see like him having something stupid like a 6 for 120 and 3 touchdown line?
Dude, if he has a 6 for 120 and 3 touchdowns, I'm literally gonna just point and cry to the fantasy gods. It's gonna be brutal. Garrett Wilson to me, I think I wouldn't take any other rookie wide receiver over Garrett Wilson.
I wouldn't either.
I think he would be my dynasty wide receiver 1 among rookies.
You can make the case that he's in the top 5 already.
I think you should be making that case legitimately. Like
I'm saying. He looks like Justin Jefferson.
If I had like any of those like Metcalf, Higgins, Lamb, Waddle type of guys, and people are going to give you Garrett Wilson in a first for those players, like that is.
I don't think that's going to.
But no, people will do that, man.
Garrett Wilson in the second or Arthur Juan?
Huh?
Garrett Wilson in the second or Arthur Juan right now? Yeah, that deal's in your inbox.
If I'm in a full status rebuild, I would take Garrett Wilson in it too.
Straight up face value.
My team is equivalent regardless. Like it's a competitive team.
Let's say like you're a top 6 to 4 seed, so you're not a top 2, but you're not like a bottom dweller.
This year, I'm going to take AJ Brown.
Fair, but this offseason, are you doing it?
Oh yeah, in the offseason, give me Garrett Wilson a second for sure.
That's where I'm at as well. I think he's a fucking stud.
But like those deals aren't smashes. Like you could probably get deals done where you get Garrett Wilson in a 2024 first for AJ Brown in a 2023 second.
Done.
Yeah, I'd imagine you can get deals like that in a lot of leagues.
We got one from Glock Guy. Fournette or White tonight need 10 to win. I would go with Rashad White. Fournette coming off that hip injury. We don't know what his workload's going to be. Rashad Wright was already cracking into a 50-50, even a favorable workload in his own end before he got hurt. So I don't see any way that the Bucs just say, hey, Leonard, you are the veteran.
I'd be very shocked if Leonard Fournette had more than like 30 to 40% of the snaps in this game. Yep.
No, I agree with you there. Another super chat here from our Gravy. CPAT over Swift never again. Lost against Lamar. That is a big pain. Yeah, so I'm glad Swift bounced back. That's all I'm going to say.
Love to see it.
Oh, yeah.
That takes so far, my trade is aging very well. Outside of Debo losing his quarterback, Garrett Wilson and Swift are looking like guys that could be really productive down the stretch. Where do you guys have Garrett Wilson Dynasty again? We're going to have to do a Dynasty rankings update post fantasy football season. We'll probably do one.
We'll give a little sneak peek.
Garrett Wilson will be inside my top 8 wide receivers for sure.
Well, I mean, if we're looking at it like age, market effects, everything, like the only 3 I can say right now I would take over him are the top 2 and CeeDee Lamb.
I would take Jalen Waddle over him.
Oh, Jalen Waddle as well. So 4. So he you could make the argument from 5 to 10. He can belong anywhere in that grouping, I think.
I would still, at face value, take AJ Brown and DK Metcalf over him too, depending on my team situation. Like they're both young enough that they're still going to be productive for a while. But
I wouldn't take DK because he's going to be.
Point you're talking about Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Chris Olave, and then your very highly productive veterans, Tyreek Hills, Cooper Kupps, and Devontae Adams types.
I don't think I would take DK or Arthur over him simply because they're 20. They're going to be 26 next year. And Garrett's going to be 22.
Yeah, I mean, you still got like 4 years of very, very prime level play out of those guys.
No doubt, but I think like the drop off, if you will, in terms of production might be like 90% of it, 95.
Yeah, that's fair. I think there's a legitimate Garrett Wilson.
100%.
I can say with 100% certainty right now, if he's like a 4th, 5th round pick, he will be my highest owned
every single team.
Fantasy next year.
I basically mentioned it
exactly what's going to happen. He's going to be a 4th, 5th round.
Like where Waddle was going.
Receiver. He's going to be the T. Higgins draw from a couple years ago. He's going to be the Waddle draw from this past year. Like that's exactly what I think Garrett Wilson's going to end up being. I have no doubt in my mind this guy would be like a 16 to 18 PPR point per game score if Mike White and Joe Flacco were the quarterbacks
as a rookie
so far.
He's averaging, I think, 17.5.
It's 20 PPR points with games.
Sorry, I was going half. Right. My bad. The reason I was going half is because I think Hayden tweeted it. But yeah, like 20 PPR points per game in terms of
that's league-winning ceiling scoring. Yeah. Like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase didn't even do that their rookie seasons.
Yeah, I'm just going to warn you guys now because me and Bush are going to have a boatload of that coming up in terms of content for the offseason. Like we'll probably
do rankings updates as soon as the season is done, like video form as well, not just like our Patreon Dynasty rankings manifesto.
Also, I was thinking about this. I mentioned it to you, but if you guys want to see it, comment down below. But we're thinking about basically, so we did a video last year, and we kind of do this in redraft as well. But basically, the takes that we got right or wrong only for a Dynasty version. So last year, we made a video basically. Each round, we outlined who we thought were the best values and who were the biggest fades. Might go through that, CEO, for example, who was our 4th round biggest fade? How did that work out? Has he lost Dynasty value since then? Like shit like that we will go through. So comment down below if you want to see something like that.
It's a really good idea because with Dynasty, there's so much more that goes into it than simply like, we were low on Cam or we were high on Cam Akers this year in redraft and he didn't work out. Because then
it's just
there's a lot that changes versus in a Dynasty format. There's still things that could, work out in your favor of the initial take, but maybe you missed out on a detail that you wish you would have thought of.
Yep. I agree. Got another super chat here from Jer. Appreciate that. He says, Gino minus 700 to win comeback player of the year. Going to get paid money, and Seattle now has the number 3 pick in the draft. Whereas Addison and QJ go in the draft. So big shout out there, Gino, comeback player of the year, because he's good for him, man. 100%. I'm glad that he's shown out. He should be getting a $35-40 million contract. If Derek Carr's getting $40 million a year, if Kirk Cousins getting $35 million a year, I don't see any reason why Geno Smith shouldn't be asking for that based off what he's played like this year.
I'm still hella pissed that all of my so 2 of my 6 highest owned wide receivers in BBM3 are Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf.
You didn't stack him with Geno.
I didn't stack him with Geno because in the super flex puppies as well. I took some Drew Lock thinking that he would be the starting quarterback. So that I did not get any Geno Smith, which is super irritating because I was on the receivers.
Yeah.
And Walker's a top 8 or 7 running back owned for me as well.
Yeah. Where does Addison and QJ go in the draft? I think both of them are pretty much top 12, top 10 level locks. Like one of them is going to
go in the top 10.
I agree.
I think they should, at least, just given what we know about how NFL teams are valuing wide receivers, how good I think both those guys are going to test too. I think Addison's going to probably test similar to Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, how they tested.
Question I have for you is like a lot of that's going to be dependent on how many quarterbacks go in the top 10 to 15, right? Because if it's only the top 2, if it's only Stroud and Young, like I think they are locked in top 8 to 10 overall picks.
If the over under on QBs in the first round, which it probably is, if you looked it up right now, is 2.5. I think I would probably put my mortgage on 2.
Oh, first round, absolutely. I was saying top 10. I think 2.5 is the lock for top 10. That was the over under for top 10.
I'm saying I would put my mortgage on under 2.5 on the first round.
Under 2.5 on the first round.
Yeah, on quarterback.
Oh God, man, I disagree.
There's
no way Anthony Richardson commits if he's not a first round pick. There's no way.
I agree. I think that's probably likely, and I really hope that's the case because that makes my 2023 first round picks more valuable, and I'm literally tanking in 5 of the 7 dynasty leagues that I'm in. So I definitely love that. If Anthony Richardson, even if you don't want Anthony Richardson, if you guys have first round picks, you want him to be a first round pick in the NFL draft because it makes your picks better.
I will tell you right now, if Anthony Richardson goes in the top 10, he's going to be my 102. Like he's going to be my 102 if he goes top 10. If he goes top 10,
absolutely, dude. Yeah, if he goes to the Lions or something at like the Rams pick at like 7 or something, like he's absolutely going to be the fucking
easily.
He's going to be the 102. Like there's no way you can't. It's the same reason we were taking Lance over Lawrence 2 years ago.
Well, you know the Rams pick is currently they're 3-9. It's currently projected as the number 4 pick in the draft. If the Broncos had,
dude, I think the Lions won't pick a quarterback unless they get 1 overall though.
Fair.
From the Rams.
I think their second round pick might be labeled on Anthony Richardson, though. Could be.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know what to think of Anthony Richardson because I have like Malik Willis PTSD because I just thought for sure he was going to be a first round pick, and now that he's not, I'm like, I don't know if there ever is.
I think Richardson is miles better of a prospect.
Toolsy guy that is not a first rounder.
I guess
the SEC is a big deal for the NFL. Like they're going to really value the fact that he played in the SEC.
Yeah, I think Richardson is just a miles better prospect. As much as I like Malik Willis.
I can't say that until I watch the tape, but
better arm, better athlete, more mobile, which is crazy to say because
I don't know, man. Fucking Willis had some tools, man. His mobility in his arm was pretty good.
The thing that draws me to A-Rich is if he pans out, the only 2 quarterbacks that probably have better tools. I don't even think I would say like Mahomes' arm, yes, but pure mobility, everything like pure tools. Josh Allen, arm. Mobility, like he's got legitimate 4.4 speed as a 6'4", 240.
This might be a hot take, but I think Mahomes has one of the more underrated mobility skill sets in the league, man.
Oh,
I think
for sure.
He could legitimately rush for 700-800 yards a year, but he doesn't because he's such a highly paid quarterback.
Like my comp for Anthony Richardson, just based off tools. Like again, like we'll go into our film and we'll break it down fully because he's still very, very raw. He's like a poor man Justin Fields.
Yeah, Justin Fields is pretty much the answer. I think is going to be very popular with a lot of people.
Yeah. All right, let's spam these.
Yeah. Oh my God, OS. Yeah, dude. Ohio State's 4-stack is better than Alabama's. The Ruggs, Judy, Waddle, Smith it's nothing compared to Olave, Wilson, JSN, and Harrison. Like that's a disgusting 4-stack.
Did you hear that? So Penn State's trying to bring in Spencer Sanders from Oklahoma State, and Drew Aller might transfer to fucking Ohio State.
Drew Aller's the 2025 Penn State QB, right?
He might transfer to Ohio State.
I think it's gonna be super. Like, as much as this is gonna kind of suck now because like if you're a fan of like a non-big money college football team, they're probably not gonna be able to hold talent as easy as they would have been in the past now with these NIL deals, but. It's going to be more fun, I think. There's going to be college players that are going to like big schools and like teaming up with like, if Braylon Allen or some shit like
Braylon Allen, a lot of rumors to Michigan. A lot of rumors to Michigan.
I saw some rumors to USC as well.
Yeah. The main 3 that I saw, USC is like the 4th, but the main 3 I saw like circulating a lot was Michigan, Notre Dame, and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
For Braylon Allen.
Braylon Allen by the way, I think Arch is going to start next year. I think Quinn's going to either transfer or lose his job.
Yeah, probably.
Which I think is something that we probably need to take into account with the 2024 draft class is that I think Quinn's got tools for sure, but I think if he pans out, he'll be a senior when he comes out.
Yeah, no, that's fair. He should be a 2025 guy.
Yeah.
Let's spam
I'm starting
to
think that just because I think Arch is going to be just like get on the scene right away and be the fan favorite to win the job.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's get these.
Yeah, the game's been going, so we might just sign off here. Do we have anything else that's interesting here? I'm looking through the comments here. Sorry, we kind of just
went on a little bit
trolled
of a
him,
tangent.
Yeah. Other analysts staring at RotoSurgeon's Twitter. Was he a Boutte guy? I was never a Boutte. I've never been a Boutte guy, man. I didn't see it. What kind of this is kind of an interesting question here. What kind of transfer sorry, I'm reading fucking Nate's question while I'm
if he committed, he's going top 15, 20.
Yeah, I don't think there's a chance in hell that NFL teams watch his sophomore tape, seeing him outproduce Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, who we know are absolute studs in the NFL, and he does not get drafted in the top 15 or 20 picks. I just don't see it happening.
So I made a joke with Jacob, like I was talking to him in the DMs, and I said, because he basically tweeted out, "I'm begging on my hands and knees to not draft JSN day one. Please allow us this opportunity." He tweeted at the NFL, Jacob did. So then I messaged him. I'm like, he's slot only. He only gets force-fed targets. He's not a good athlete. And then I just said, Amon-Ra St. Brown grinning, telling us he doesn't give a fuck, and we shouldn't either.
Yeah, dude, JSN is a supercharged Amon-Ra. That's kind of a decent comp for him, actually.
Yeah. Yep. How long do you think Walker out? Apparently he's expected to return this week. That's what's been going on. Word from Seahawks camp is that it's a minor injury. They don't expect him to miss past this week, and he might actually suit up this week. So hopefully he can suit up for those of you relying on Kenneth Walker. I need Godwin and Hill to put up less than 40 to win my Superflex Dynasty matchup, keep fourth place and push for the playoffs. Good luck there, Poland. Good luck.
Yeah, bro. Arch is gonna be so fucking good. I don't know why. I can sense it. The pedigree is just there. I know he's gonna be. You're gonna get Quinn's fucking mullet on the campus and see Arch playing quarterback, and you're gonna be like, why are we going with this guy?
My fault, Marvin. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, no, we skipped a bunch of questions because we were gonna sign off here. Is Lenny just catching passes now?
Najee worth the 105 in a rookie draft? No. What's your opinion on so? If
you
have Najee Harris,
you're getting 105 in a rookie draft for Najee, you sell him instantly.
Yes, if you can get any top 8 pick at this point.
Yeah, I would say Najee's gonna get overreacted on a little bit because people are gonna be like way off of him. Like I saw some like, oh, would you take Rashad White in him over Dynasty? Like absolutely not. Like I'm still taking Najee Harris, but 105, like yeah, absolutely, that is a great return.
What would be your cutoff for rookie pick? Like 108?
I would rather have Sean Tucker than him. So whatever you can get Sean Tucker with.
Fair. Because I think like outside of the top 3 receivers, the top 3, but now that fucking Anthony Richardson's declaring and Will Levis going to go high as well, like you're probably
if both of those guys go in the first round, you're going to get Jahmyr Gibbs, Sean Tucker, Jordan Addison, JSN at like 107 to 110.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Which is insane. Because if you get Richardson, top 15 draft capital, Will Levis goes in the first round, all those guys are going to go in the top 8 rookie picks.
Yep. Arch is generational. The vibe I'm getting from Arch is like Joe Burrow-y.
Yeah,
like he's got a good but not.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, like not a good but not great arm. Mobile but not like an elite athlete. But he's got the intangibles. He's got the leadership. Obviously the pedigree with his fucking bloodline there. I mean, you got a surefire Hall of Famer and a Hall of Famer that Giants fan seems to think so. With
Peyton's already in.
He's already in.
Ballot. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think Eli's getting in? Like,
yeah, I do.
I think he is, but like,
he's gonna get in.
That's gross to me.
Yeah. Anyways, we should sign off because the Bucs are like literally in the red zone right now. So
good luck.
I need to watch this game. Fuck the Saints. You guys know the drill.
Go Saints.